Let us start with the motto song.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामंशो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैत 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 एतद्द्वैत.
Each and every one of you for being here with us today. Respected Chief Guest, our Vice Chairman, past chairmen of our branch, colleagues in the committee, and dear members. Today, we are gathered here for the Vaidyanath Aiyar Memorial Lecture to commemorate the valuable contributions made by Sri S. Vaidyanath Aiyar, past President of ICAI, towards Chartered Account Fraternity. We have got a very apt personality for delivering this Vaidyanath Memorial Lecture. Dr. C.A. Phalguna Kumar, past chairman of SIRC and expert speaker of CPE seminars, especially for trust. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation. We are happy to have you at our branch. On behalf of the committee, I welcome you to Tiruvandhuram branch. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, the members gathered here are our strength. We, the committee, wholeheartedly welcome you to the branch. Thank you very much for coming for the seminar. Let us welcome C.A. Ramakrishnan H., our Vice Chairman, to read out the Vaidyanath Memorial Statement and also welcome the read out the profile of the speaker. Thank you.
Respected Chief Guest, Sri Phalguna Kumar, our branch chairman, Chiranji Samuel, respected past chairman who have assembled here, respected distinguished members, good morning to you all. I'm immensely pleased to present before you the achievements of Sri Vaidyanath Aiyar, former President of ICAI, who died in harness when he was the President of India. C.A.S. Vaidyanath Aiyar was the President of ICAI during the year 1957-58 and 1958 and 59 up to 5th February 1958 when he died in harness. A doyen of the profession of CAs in Delhi, Sri Vaidyanath Aiyar had also distinguished himself by his varied interest in the cultural and social life of Delhi. Born in 1901, Sri Vaidyanath Aiyar graduated from the University of Madras and became a GDA in 1926. University, Tirupati. He is serving the society as trustee and executive member of several charitable institutions at Tirupati. He has been appointed as a finance committee member for 3 years, 2020 to 2022 of IAIT, Allahabad, UP. This appointment we all CA should be proud of. Let us give him a very big applause. He was a member of the Southern India Regional Council of ICAI from 2010 to 2019. He was chairman of Southern India Regional Council for the year 2016-17. With this, I am proud in introducing our faculty of the day, Dr. C.A. Phalguna Kumar. Over to you, sir.
Om Namo Venkatesaya. Esteemed Chairman of Trivandrum branch, Sri Janithan Samuel, Vice Chairman Ramakrishnan, committee members, and several past illustrious chairman of this branch who are in the audience, known to me personally. A warm good morning to all of you. At the outset, inviting me to this branch, especially to deliver a memorial lecture, is an honor bestowed upon me, whether I deserve it or not, by committee members, and I pray the Lord to give me the strength and the intelligence to live up to their expectation today. Roughly 3 hours, I would like to deal with the topic, which is a very, 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 very vital topic, left with only 5 golden days. We are on March 26th. By March 31st, in my view, a golden opportunity, or somebody can say platinum is more valuable, a platinum opportunity for those who have not availed the benefits of income tax registration. So how it is, how the impact will be, how many ways in the coming days, many difficulties to these non-profit organizations are going to be there. To avoid them, how best we can, as financial experts, as taxation experts, have to deal with the subject to the extent possible in the limited time given to me of 3 hours. I will try to justify. In fact, a memorial lecture means Sir Ramakrishnan has given me the introduction of Sri S. Vaidyanath Aiyar. We were doing it at the regional level every year. At the branch level now, it has come back. So, our existence itself, as per the important nature's laws, the nature has got certain laws. Out of those laws, our existence itself, because of something good, sometimes few years back, sometimes few decades ago, sometimes few centuries ago. So as the introduction was given, the 50 to 60 decade, the Vaidyanath Aiyar's contribution, being a original GDA at the time of formation of ICAI in 1949, as a GDA, he entered the CA Institute and taken the lead, for which we have to pay our respects. So, as part of paying that respect, to live up to the expectations of the coming generations, the Memorial Fund established in 1960, we are in 2022. After 62 years, we are recollecting means a person how best would have contributed for the cause of the profession. So, if we contribute now, if I do my best in the coming 3 hours, maybe somebody else will get the benefit after 10 years, after 20 years, after that. That's how the nature's law. We have to do our duty today, live today with some high expectation. The results will come. So, with my pronouns to that great person who saw to it, who prevailed among the then politicians for due recognition for this profession, because of which we are all now enjoying some status, some privilege in the society. In other way, the topic given by the branch and the memorial lecture are interrelated. The topic is non-profit organizations, especially charitable and religious public goods. There is no much difference from the income tax point of view between the word religion and charity. The Supreme Court also in Dawoodi Bora Jamaat case upheld the Maharashtra High Court decision, every religion includes charity. In fact, the Bombay Public Trust Act 1950, which has recently been converted into Maharashtra. As you are aware, throughout India, only 3 states have got Public Trust Act. All other states, including Kerala, southern states, we are not having any Public Trust Act, but we are having only the Indian Trust Act 1882. So whatever we form here, they are all part of that Indian Trust Act only. There is no separate Public Trust Act. But if you read 1023, if you read 11, 12, 13, you find the word trust or institution is given exemption. So trust or institution, only 2 words used throughout section 11, 12, 13. The word person as defined in section 231 is not having the word. Person includes individual, HUF company, artificial juridical person, AOPPY. It is not having the word trust. So the person is not the word used in 11, 12, 13 trust. So the consciously the Income Tax Act used the word trust. So the Bombay Public Trust Act said a society is also a trust. For the Bombay Public Trust Act, the trust means which includes society, which includes Section 8 company. Based on that only the Income Tax Act also used the word trust. Trust includes. So the beginning point is whenever you form a society under the Societies Act, I think in Kerala 2 types of Societies Acts are there. Northern part, one Societies Act, southern part Societies Act. So every state, the original 1860 Societies Act has been modified, adopted by each state, different. Minimum 7 members, non-profit motive, no dividend shall be distributed among the members. But when you are applying for the PAN number, you should take for the society AOP within brackets trust. So your PAN 4th letter should be T rather than A. That is the beginning point. Then only you can enjoy either section 11, 12, 13 exemption or 12AB registration now or the 1023 registration earlier. So the charitable work is part of the society. From time immemorial, kings used to do this charitable work, either purely in the name of charitable as defined in the charitable purpose section 215 of the Income Tax Act, the charity work, maybe the Annadana, free food, relief to poor, or maybe in the name of religion, For example, the 1500 years back roughly constructed Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple used to have inside the temple itself, as I know, free food feeding by the king. So the religion and charity go together. That's what I referred, conferred by the Supreme Court. The Income Tax Department has separated religion and charity for the Income Tax sake. But the Supreme Court has said, when the Quran says on a Ramjan day, you have to give away some percentage, roughly 6% of your annual income, you should give free. So if that is there, it is charitable, it is for a, Dawoodi Bora is a particular community in the Muslim community, say in the Muslim religion, Dawoodi Bora is a, so your charity cannot be there as per section 13, subsection 1 small b, for a particular caste color, you cannot have charity. The department contended the Supreme Court. Supreme Court finally said, every religion includes charity, don't distinguish. Religious come charity shall be given. So that charitable work we are doing now in the topic, how best the given exemption shall be availed by the entities. As financial advisors, we are here to give the advice to those institutions. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So first half, I will deal with the registration opportunity till March 31st of this month. Those who have not availed that opportunity, if they don't avail, what sort of big threat they are going to face, we have to see. Secondly, in the second half, how best you try to take care of small hitches. Unless, just like that, plainly if you do, you will say not be able to deliver the desired goal. So in the second half, what practical aspects you have to take care of, that I will deal after the tea break. First, in the past 5 days, how many of your clients have received under the Income Tax Act, Section 148, capital A, a new section, small b, the subclass, notices in the past 4-5 days? How many of you in the new section, new provision, how many of your clients have received? Anybody please raise the hand, sir? Not a single person. I wonder, throughout the country, not less than some 15 lakhs notices are being issued under this new section. Till 31st March 21, only 148 section was there. To take up any income escape assessment, to the assessment to be completed under 147, only 148 section was there till 31st March 21. Now after 1421, the new section 148 capital A is introduced, which underwent some change in the 2022 Finance Act also. What is this 148A? Based on the risk management software, the income tax officer can believe that some income has escaped assessment, for which an opportunity is given to the assessee by giving a notice in advance that I am going to assess your income. Please, if you have any objection, please tell me. That is 148 capital A, which has come in the income tax. Earlier, straight away the officer was issuing 148. Please file your return for assessment year 16-17. I believe some income escape. Sir, on what basis you file the return? Then I will tell you the reason to believe. That was the position up to 31/3/21. Now it is changed. Why it changed? Kindly follow me carefully. In 2014-2015, the income tax department was not having that much wherewithal, that much technology to artificially analyze a person's bank account. How much cash credits are there, cash deposits are there, how much transactions were there, is he an assessee, is the return filed and the cash deposits and the credits are matching, is there any possibility? That technology, that tool was not there with the income tax department in 2014-15. From 1/6/2021, you have seen the income tax portal has undergone a sea change. We all laughed at the portals non-functioning for 2016 June to September. The department will laugh at us now in 2022 June and September. Please see. The abnormal power of the artificial intelligence is at the hands of income tax department now. So they brought within the Income Tax Act the new section 148A, the new 148 reopening of assessments, and last year drafting errors self-goal was there by the income tax department. Up to 3 years, a 148A notice can be given if it is below 50 lakhs. If it is above 50 lakhs, the income escape, unless there is an asset represented by that escaped income, 148A notice cannot be given. That was the drafting error last year, 2021 Finance Act. Now with 2022, they corrected their mistake and they have amended. Now, 4 or 5 examples I will give. Throughout the country, number of people received. I wonder, in Trivandrum, you are saying no notice is received by a single person. A school in a street corner, maybe in 14-15, maybe in 14-15 financial year, deposited the children's school tuition fees 60 lakhs in their bank account. Till this day they have not filed their return of income. Till this day they are not having 12A registration. Their PAN number is there. Maybe PAN number 4th letter T also trust is there. They will receive a 148A notice now this month. If you are having trust status, cash deposited into your account, you are bound to file a return of income. You are bound to file your audit report. You have not filed the return of income. How can I say, department says, how can I say that it is the genuine exempted income unless I know that you are having that exempted income, unless I know, how can I say that is exempted? The mere fundamental concept in the Income Tax Act, as you are all aware, professionals, if somebody's bank account, some deposits are there, means the first presumption is whatever I get in my bank account is my income. It is up to me to prove whether it is gross income, whether it is my net income, whether it is source explainable income, whether it is source not explainable income. It is up to me to explain. Otherwise, till that time, department first presumption, any deposit in the bank account is unexplained investment. If it is a SSC maintaining books of account, section 68. If an SSC not maintaining books of account, section 69. If more precisely to say, 69 capital A. Whether it's an unexplained investment or unexplained money, bullion, jewelry found under 69. So they can bring to tax. We all know section 115 BBE from 1718 as India, the 2016 demonetization amendment ropes in the 68, 69, 69A to 60% tax, 15% surcharge. So what I say, every person, whatever the credits are there in the bank account, must be capable of explaining, answering, evidencing to the department, saying, this is the exempted income. I have discharged my duty by filing the return of income. So, unless that person comes to you and asks you, what is my duty? How can I avail the exemption? Unless he asks, you cannot do it. So as I said, the present government is issuing the notices under the Income Tax Act up to 50 lakhs rupees, only 3 years they can reopen. Above 50 lakhs, they can reopen up to 10 years. Those notices are being issued by the government to all the people, whether individuals, institutions, any PAN number. If they are not filing the return of income, notice will come. They have been issuing in the past 4 or 5 days only. The department officers have represented abnormal volume. By March 31st, we cannot issue all these things. They have represented also, you would have seen in newspapers, but government may or may not extend the date. So this is the present scenario, which I say, in the background of these religious and charitable public institutions, who should, when they are doing a genuine work, should have registered. Now, as you are aware of the income tax provisions, 3 types of income tax exemptions are there. The first type, without any approval from the income tax department, without any registration from the income tax department, some exemptions are given. What are they? With the registration, with approval, some institutions are given the exemption with the least conditions. Second one. The third one is with so many conditions to be satisfied, the exemption shall be available. For all these things, the 2020 Finance Act has brought in a change. What is it? The 1973 new section was 12 capital A. So the 12 capital A section made the registrations compulsory. From 1961 to 1973, all the religious institutions, temples, churches, gurudwaras, mosques, all schools, colleges, if they are for non-profit motive, unconditionally were enjoying the exemption 61 to 73. Then they brought this 12A and then 12AA. So they said, unless you are registered, you cannot claim the exemption. Once they give the registration, that is permanent. So 40 years back, those who got 12A registration, never they were renewing. But only the 2020 Act said, no question of permanent registration, no question of permanent approval. Any approval shall be valid only for 5 years. Due to Corona, though they brought in 2020 February, by March 2020, big calamity. So they extended the date, that extension. Actually, they brought the form of the new renewal of the registration only from 1/4/21. Then they said 21 June, then 21 September. Now it is up to 31st March 22. So the registration process for majority is applicable. For some people, without registration, the exemption can be availed. So we will try to understand in the coming 10 minutes to whom the registration is necessary, whether it is a renewal of the old registration or a fresh registration, to whom the registration is necessary. In the first 10 minutes, let us understand, and then the registration process, what are all the minimum requirements, we will see. So from now onwards, once they get registration, they can enjoy the exemption, fulfilling the conditions. So this is what we will see before the tea break. Start the briefing. So the two priority areas of the government are education and medical relief. So for education and medical relief, if it is the sole object of the institution, entity, that is the society or the trust or Section 8 company, the old Companies Act was having Section 25, the 2013 Companies Act Section 8. So for them, if it is solely existing for education, solely existing for the medical relief, again two types. Those education institutions funded by government, not funded by government. Those medical relief institutions funded by government, not funded by government. this type of classification. So if it is an educational institution, the Rule 2BB, 50% or more of its gross revenues, 50% or more of its gross revenues are funded by government, then without any government approval, they can enjoy the exemption of their income. For example, the universities, Kerala University or say some other university, Venkateswara University or Annamalai University, Madras University. So these universities are funded by the government, partly by state government, partly by central government UGC grants. So these institutions, even now, whether they have 100 crores, 200 crores gross revenue, so if they are substantially financed means, they, till 2012 the word substantial is not defined. Then the word is defined, 50% or more is the meaning of the exact word by Rule 2BB. So if they are substantially funded by government, they can even now enjoy the exemption. But from 16-17 assessment year, every year they have to file the return of income. Such universities also. As on this date, 90% of such universities are not filing the return of income, ground reality. But notices are given. Madurai Kamaraj University received the notice. They asked, sir, can we have to file the, yes sir, our income is exempt. Exempt subject to conditions, so many conditions will be there. So, it's unfortunate in the society, if somebody says you are having exemption, that exemption only the first word they will remember, subject to conditions, the second word onwards, nobody will remember. My income is exempt, my subject to so many things you have to do, comply. If you don't comply, what is it? The government expects, use exemption, please comply the law. In this country, under the Income Tax Act, only one principal chief commissioner, Mrs. Saxena, is there in Delhi. One principal chief commissioner of exemptions. Every 2 states, one commissioner of income tax from 1/10/2014. That Saxena, 3 days back, has come to Tirupati. Called a meeting. What are all the deficiencies now? I gave a big list. These are all this. Oh, still people are not filing the returns. If you yourself not aware what is, take it. Country head for income tax. So the exemptions part we are seeing. So the educational and medical relief, the small 3AB, and for educational, small 3AC for medical relief. So this 50% or more if they are substantially funded by the government. For your information, state governments also slowly reducing this funding, and just like American universities, they want these universities to become self-sufficient. They start Kerala University, MCOM regular course, MCOM self-financing course, MBA regular course, MBA self-finance course. What is the difference? Self-finance course means those students who are not having that merit to get the seat in that must pay the fees. Slowly the government wants to reduce the funds, and every government university is now self-financing courses. So they don't know when they will fall below 50%. Once they fall below 50%, the automatic exemption they will be losing. At that time, if the income tax officer gives a notice, no exemption for you automatic, you have not taken the registration. Without registration, an exemption is not available. Please see the danger. So that is education issue substantially funded by the government. Similarly, medical issues, you are having nowadays central government promoted super specialty hospitals by a separate funding. Institute of Medical Sciences, they did name it differently. KIMS, NIMS, so many. So those institutions also central government sponsored institutions automatically can enjoy, but they have to file the return of income from 16-17 assessment year. Then comes the other not funded by that. That's what we see. As I quoted, every street corner you will find a convent school, some college, plus 2 college, junior college, you call or some education institutions, engineering colleges, medical colleges. So those institutions up to 21, 22 assessment year, 1 crore only was the limit. Up to 21, 22 assessment year, they were also without approval were enjoying the exemption up to cross receipts. Once they cross the 1 crore, they must get the income tax registration and then enjoy. Otherwise, no. So now for 21-22 financial year, assessment year 22-23 onwards, the limit is raised to 5 crores. There was a big legal controversy about this 1 crore, 5 crores. Earlier 1 crore, number of decisions have come per institution, not per entity, not per person. Per institution 1 crore was the limit. Okay, government accepted. Now they said per person 5 crores. This is the amendment in 2021 Finance Act. So per person, that means one society may have one elementary school, one high school, one engineering college, one medical college. Now all put together per person 5 crores. Now the amendment in 21 also a little bit legal battle. They said for 1023 AD the limit per person is 5 crores. 1023 AE the limit per person is 5 crores. Now also one can intelligently argue AD what it talks about solely education. So all my education institutions total gross receipts 5 crores. I may have medical institutions also. Medical hospitals again another 5 crores. So one can argue though one person may have in two different sections 5 crores, 5 crores. So that may come, but naturally the medical institutions running, educational institutions owning society may not own the hospitals also generally. So anyhow, that 5 crores is from 22-23 assessment year. Okay, so this is the amendment. So why should we know this background? Because the first half registration, who should take the registration? If he is in the automatic approval route exempted, not necessary for registration, but he is in the verge of crossing the limit. For example, you have an engineering college. Its present gross receipts are 3 crores. You are contemplating in the coming 2-3 years, the 3 crores may cross 5 crores. Then better, though you are now enjoying without 12A registration, an exemption automatic route, but in the coming 5 years you are going to there, the present registration process, what it says, once in 5 years one has to renew. Now if you register, coming 5 years you will enjoy, and then again you can renew. 2021 renewal, 2026 renewal, again re-renewal one has to do. So it is better, though at present you are in the automatic route, you better now itself apply and then try to avail the registration and exemption. So this is the not required, approval not required route. Then comes the required, for whom the required. You are having two separate routes, section 10 route, section 11 route. So the non-profit organizations, public religious charitable institutions, two routes are there, either section 10 route or section 11. 11 is an exemption section. 11 positive conditions it will say, you must have a registration under 12AA or 12AB from 1/4/21, 12AB up to 31/3/21, 12AA old, which is many of you when have written the exam 12AA. Now the new section is 12AB. Okay, so this section 10 route, in my view, even now is not that advantageous. Is not that advantageous when compared with 12AB route. 12AB route is much better than 1023C route. If you are given two options, don't opt for 1023. Why? The 2020-21 acts have not touched much, but last month you would have seen February 1st budget. Not less than 12 amendments are brought for this 1023. 12 amendments are brought. 1023C is the section with 17 provisos up to 2020. 2 provisos were newly added in 2021 budget. 3 provisos are added in 2022. So now it is having 23 provisos. 23 conditions you have to satisfy to get a 1023C exemption. Almost all the conditions are applicable to 12AB also. But one main difference even now is, which is very crucial. The present government, 2014, brought an amendment to section 12 capital A, subsection 2. The 12 capital A, subsection 2, 3 provisos are brought in 2014 Finance Act, applicable from 15-16 Assembly. What are those 3 provisos? Those 3 provisos are, if any public, religious or charitable institution, if it obtains any time a registration, then not only from the assessment year for which the registration is given, for earlier years also, it can enjoy the section 11 exemption, and the assessing officer, the jurisdictional assessing officer, is precluded from issuing section 147 notice, now the 148A. I repeat, by mistake, a temple which is having every year 12 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs gross receipts, somehow that temple, that church, that mosque has not taken the 12A registration up to 31st March 21, 12AB registration even now. Now if they apply tomorrow, the Form 10A, the registration is applicable for 22-23 assessment year. They will give in writing, yes, you are applied now, I am giving you the registration. This registration is valid for 22-23 assessment year. Certificate says only that. Everything online apply, online you will get, automatic. Very good. But if you see the provisions of 12 capital A subsection 2, the provisions say, once you get a registration, for earlier years also, section 11 exemption can be enjoyed. The assessing officer cannot issue income escape notice, provided A, your objects are similar and you have satisfied all those section 11 conditions. No problem. 85% income you should have applied, or your money should be in section 11.5 mode only, nationalized banks or post office like deposits. So if you satisfy all these things, it's very easy. The officer cannot issue any notice. So by mistake, if some institution has not legitimately availed the registration, no, there will be so many cases like that. Why that presumption? Every state is having, before independence, under the British rule, and even now, every state is having Hindu, Kerala, Hindu religious and charitable endowments act. Endowments act, one act, every state is having. So, majority temples are managed by those government employees. So they government employees are under the impression, this is a government temple, automatic income tax. Where is the income tax? Here, government temple is also liable. I have given 10 questions related to this topic like thing. The last question is this, in the 10 questions. Have you gone through the 10 questions? Anybody? This is the last question. So like that, the answers I am going to display. For these 10 questions, answers also at the end of my session, I will give the answers also. So that temple also, though managed by the Hindu Endowments Act, is liable to tax. Unless registered, it cannot enjoy exemption. It too has to pay the income tax. So that's all. For example, for the smart cities, the Government Urban Development Authorities Act, one central act was there. Based on that, several states for development of Ernakulam Cochin Development Authority, one authority would have been formed. That authority is formed by the state government by a special act. Is it liable for income tax or not? It is liable. It is doing public charitable work. Then you register under 12AB. If you don't register because the IAS officer is managing that urban development authority, maybe IAS officer. The Income Tax Act says they have to register. They have to register. For example, Kerala State Road Transport Corporation. Kerala State Road Transport, Kerala State Finance Corporation, Kerala State Road. All these corporations, are they eligible for 12AB registration? Can anybody, sir? Instead of my monologue, I think I should make you talk. Kerala State Road Transport Corporation, can it be registered under Income Tax Act 12AB? If it is not registered, by chance it gets the profits, is it liable for income tax? Is my question. Anybody, sir? Some people say yes, some people say no. No, it is not necessary to register. That is your answer. So his answer is Kerala State Road Transport Corporation need not register. Sorry, it cannot register. It's a Income Tax Act will not give the registration. You say if they apply also, if they apply under 12AB, will the Income Tax Act is bound to give or not? No. It cannot give. Why? You are right. You are right. Beverage Corporation. Beverage Corporation under laws. No, every state beverage corporation is thousands of crores profit. How Kerala State Beverage Corporation, it is giving for liquor, drinking people, subsidized liquor. That's why state government is incurring loss. Is it so? There will be civil supplies corporation. Every state is having a civil supplies corporation. So with the food subsidy, no. So there is a possibility that state civil supplies corporation incurring loss is all right. But beverage corporation incurring loss, then the government is subsidizing the. Then it should end up with profit. Your statement may not be correct.
In another lighter way, in our lifetime, KSRT is not going to make profit.
Maybe.
So
there is a Supreme quotation. Please refer the Google APSRTC Supreme quotation. Supreme Court said, Andhra Pradesh AP State Road Transport Corporation, Supreme quotation. APSRTC is a charitable organization, deserves 12A registration. Supreme quotation under income tax. Please go through. So, any public service, though promoted by government through a corporation to do the charity, by chance it gets some income, it is entitled to registration, entitled to exemption. Maybe this beverage corporation, if you apply, I am 100% sure such a Supreme quotation will not come to execution, because all the governments, only to make money, they started this beverage corporation. Government is not manufacturing the liquor, from private manufacturers is buying, and government has a monopoly under the Abkari Act. Government has a monopoly is selling. No private person should sell. You can manufacture, but I should only sell. Every state government is selling. Every state government is, for example, in Andhra Pradesh, it's 13,000 crores profit per annum. In Andhra Pradesh, AP Beverage Corporation gets per annum 13,000 crores. It's almost 10% of the state budget. Only because of liquor, state budget is maintained. So if they apply,
here it is not shown as profit. The government has got a separate levy and they collect the money, and they especially wants to show this balance sheet as a loss.
you're right.
And
To avoid income tax.
As if they are not making profit from this, and they want to show the balance sheet as a loss.
Natural, sir, because
That is removed by the state government by not paying income tax. It is a separate levy they make and collect.
good tax planning, good financial advisor has given the advice to the government, saying that in the name of royalty, you got the monopoly to give the license. So my license giving power, give me the royalty. Thereby it incurs loss. Naturally. So good tax plan. So any state corporation, if it is a public charity work, entitled to 12AB registration. If at all it is having an exemption income, then it can claim exemption. Otherwise, say it's taxable. So to avoid the tax, the government itself is taking by way of license fees or say royalty. It can take.
Sir, in the case of the Transport Corporation, Road Transport Corporation, which you said, we had talked about the AP RTC also.
Supreme Court decision.
Supreme Court decision we have discussed and applied in some terms.
Mm.
But if the corporation says I am to make profit out of this, or it's not a service, it is to run as a profit organization. If your principle is applied, every government company is doing service and all are eligible to register and return.
So the ultimate service
sharing of dividend also.
You are right. So if the object of doing a particular activity, is it with profit motive or not, is a very crucial point in all these charitable institutions. In the topic under the Income Tax Act also, under the topic under the Income Tax Act, is it with a profit motive or not, is a very, very, very crucial subject. The moot point what he has raised, I am going to answer. Please carefully follow. If an engineering college is there in the outskirts of Thiruvananthapuram, to make the students come to the college, the engineering college is not capable of owning the buses, so it asks the private bus owners, a bus owner, 10 buses, you bring the students to me. I will pay you the money required, bus charges. Possibility A, the college can collect from those students a higher amount and give to the bus owners a lesser amount. Year after year, consistently, if that engineering college, though a non-profit organization, though as a public charitable institution, education, is having 12AB registration, if it is making some money year after year, it amounts to carrying on an incidental activity for profit. Then separate books of accounts you should maintain and audit report you should submit. Then only that incidental income used for main purpose education is exempt. Here that incidental income, is it with income motive or not? Second example, same engineering college runs hostels. Many colleges, they run in their own premises the hostels. There are some engineering colleges, they outsource. They take on lease some buildings in the town. There they keep their boys and girls. To the building owner, what they pay is less. What they collect as hostel fees from the students is more. Then 1 year it may be all right. Consistently if you are doing, if you prepare your income and expenditure, a consolidated one, your 12AB registration can be cancelled with the present provisions. Is it with profit motive or not? A motive by not by 1 year, 1 incident. Consistently, if you are getting a profit, definitely it amounts to business. Because under the Income Tax Act, the word business though is defined under section 212, the business is a commercial activity where profit is the dominant motive. The question what sir said, state government, whenever it promotes service is the dominant motive, profit may be subsidiary. Then they can claim 12AB exemption. Sir, the service motive surplus coming is a controversy. 9 months back, Madras High Court has given a decision saying that if a school consistently is getting surplus, it is a profit motive, it is a business owner. It is not entitled. 9 months back, Madras High Court has given. Whereas so many other decisions by the Supreme Court and others still say, unless some surplus is there, assets how can they manage? So a reasonable surplus is not going to make it a commercial institution. They are entitled to. So the degree of difference is there. So if a state government is managing some activity, maybe It's a profit motive, but maybe it's a profit motive, but and the profit is taken away by the government way of dividends, as he rightly said. Definitely that is not eligible for 12A registration. For your information, 2014, the CA Institute is denied the Section 1023 registration by the Income Tax Department. You would have read that decision. The Delhi High Court said CA Institute is by 1949 Act. The dominant objective is to do service to the society by through auditing profession. To do this service, they have to train the students, give the coaching. Maybe the CA Institute audited accounts for the past 10 years consistently gave surplus. That cannot be the motive to say yours is a profit organization, you are not entitled to Section 1023 registration. This matter has been dealt just like your government. This CA Institute itself, Delhi High Court ultimately gave it. So now enjoying the exemption. So this is the answer. So this is the crucial subject. Whatever you do from the income tax man point of view, no, you are not complied enough. So it's a very difficult subject. One should be very careful. For example, I will finally conclude this question. Every hospital, public, charitable, medical relief motive hospital runs a pharmacy, medical shop. They buy the medicines, they sell the medicines to the patients. No hospital can run the medical shop by selling less than the purchase cost. They must sell either 2% or more percent, 5% more than the cost. They cannot sell for less. If a hospital, charitable hospital sells less than the cost, the local medical shop people will go there and buy there. Because less than the cost they are selling. So, now, once you are getting the profit, it is a business incidental to main activity. Once it is incidental to main activity, the Income Tax Act says, you have to maintain separate set of books of accounts. You should comply all the business sections and get them tax audited. Then only that income is used for the main purpose, you can enjoy the exemption. So any business activity which is incidental to the main activity. So that's why getting money from the public alone will not decide whether it is business or not. My question number 7, I think I gave a Rotary Club blood bank example I have given. One question I have put to explain this concept. Rotary blood bank. Which question? 6. So what I said, for example, in Bangalore city, even now, Rotary Club is running a blood bank. Live case only, I have given all my experience live. They are not enjoying this 12A registration, 12AA exemption. They are paying income tax. I said, why a chartered accountant is consistently making them pay? Even for 21 months they pay. So,
Nation building.
what is that?
Part of nation building.
Then selling the blood, you are building the nation.
That chartered accountant was not bothered about it.
What is this? So he says, sir, we are selling the blood, sir. People are giving free blood. Rotary Club name. We are selling the blood. No, it is not entitled to. No, it is a commercial activity. I said, don't do that. Rotary International has given you to establish a blood bank, you need 2 to 3 crores or 5 crores money. The original fund is given by a charity institution. Without that fund, you cannot subsidize. You are giving after all 500 rupees, 1 unit of blood. Commercially, if you see, that will cost 2000 rupees. You are giving it subsidized. Just because you are collecting money and you are ending up with some surplus, every year pay on the surplus the income tax, means it's not the intention of the Income Tax Act. The Income Tax wants to give exemption. That blood bank is entitled to registration, entitled to exemption. That's how we should think. Okay. So I will run through this process so that if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can ask me also, you can stop me.
How to
said between 1023C4
Hmm.
and then 12, section 12.
Ah.
Which will choose? Suppose there is a proposal. Can choose either 1023C4 or 1012. You said that there is some difficulties for 1023C.
That's what.
So what is the criteria, basic criteria?
Sir, it is up to the assessee to choose. Originally, when the section was brought on the statute, without registration, they were without conditions, without satisfying those 85% return filing. Those conditions, the section was originally brought. But by amendments, this 2022 amendments, I said amendments, they brought 1023C. What they said? Even if you have 1023C4 registration, unless you file the return within the time, unless you get the books audited, you are not entitled to registration. But what I said, why you don't prefer 1023C, go for 12AB registration. 12AB registration talks about 12A capital 2, so 12 capital A subsection 2, for early arrears also exemption. But if you go for 1023C4, early arrears income is not exempt. Even now, then you are losing. By going afresh, the officer will reopen the early arrears. For early arrears, you have no registration. Please pay income tax. From now onwards, you enjoy. But for early arrears, you pay. That difference is not there in 1023C. That difference is still available in 12A. That's why I say, go for that. Yes, sir?
Okay, you said 14 amendments that is still in force now? 14 amendments.
Sir, even today it is there. When 2014, when they brought the amendment, they referred to 12AA registration only at the time. When they brought 12AB, they now amended by 21 Finance Act in the 12 capital A, 12AB also. If you now get 12AB also for early arrears, you cannot reopen. That is the present amendment. So still enjoy. Go for 12AB only. Don't.
Future also, next year or year.
It is the intention of the government more clear by amending. They will not. You please have the registration. Okay. So these are all the earlier under different sections, different registration procedures were there. For example, 1023C means Form 56 was there. Only for 12AA, Form 10A was there. Now the 2020 Finance Act has brought only one single form, whether for 1023C or for 12AB, you are having only one form. Only thing is in that form, second row, code you have to select. Under which section you want exemption, registration. So code number will change. Form is one and the same. Compliance is one and the same. Whether you want 12AB registration or 1023C, only one form. Similarly for section 35 research institutions. For example, you are having Kerala University. I gave one question. So this research institution, to do a research, for example, COVID virus, university wants to do research. It has to invest a minimum 50 crores to do the research, a medicine to find out. 50 crores who will give? The donors, if they get the income tax deduction, 80G, they will. Section 35, a businessman, if he is going to get a deduction under section business income, then he will go for research donations. So this research, finally when they find out something, the research has found out some medicine. That medicine, they have to sell for profit. They must sell. Manufacturing cost of that medicine will be less. They must sell at a higher price, then only they will get the profit. So is that income exemption is the question I have given. So for that, you need a registration. This registration form is also Form 10A. So whether 35 registration, whether 80G registration approval, whether 12A registration or 1023 registration form is only one, that is Form 10A. Am I clear, sir? So this many sections, the including
the single form they can apply for 80G, 35, 192, 193 and all other.
form is one, single form, single application, no. Same form 4 times you should apply. For 12AB registration with code number 2 you apply. For 80G with code number 11 you apply. So for section 35 code number 18 you apply. So 4 times you should apply. But form is one. Only code number inside will change. Am I right, sir? For example, 1046 I told you, that Cochin Ernakulam Development Authority. A port, Cochin Port Development Authority. So 1046 you can enjoy. If you have 1046, you cannot have 12AB. It is up to you to choose. You want 1046 or 12AB. So like that, because 1046 it's government authorities, government managed. Even then, I advise, if you are the financial officer, go for 1280 only. Don't go for 1046. Because 1046, certain heads of income only can be exempted 1046. It has got its own limitation. So, better you go for 1280. Total income is exempt. That's how I prefer. So, for all these things, registration is required, but form is only 10A, one form only. Okay? So, then I will go. So, these conditions, if you want section 11 exemption, these basic conditions you be prepared. 85% of your income you should apply in the same year. If you are not able to apply, go for accumulation. For accumulation, 2 forms are available. In the immediately following year, if you can apply, then go for form 9A. Otherwise, say go for form 10. Up to 5 years you can apply. Accumulate and then apply. So like that, the conditions are there. Always your investments must be approved investments. You cannot just like that puri, chit, private investments, private shares, nothing. So the approved institutions only. Audit report should be there. If at all you want to modify your objects also, prior permission of the commissioner you should take. These are all the conditions. Okay. So then the 8G also substantially undergone. Though form 10A is there, the present amendment is, earlier the donors were giving, the donees were receiving, there was no mandatory donee uploading into the portal the details of the donors. Only from 21-22 financial year, those who got ATC approval must upload the donors' details. So that is within 2 months from the end of the financial year. So we are in March for 21-22 first time. Those who got ATC approval must upload the details. What are the details to be uploaded? Then after you uploading only, the donors 26As, the donations he has given eligible for deduction, just like your Form 26As TDS. The donations also are through the portal only. This is the new procedure which we should understand. Because of the new registration, these are all things. If you don't upload, after receiving the donations, if you don't upload, these are all the penalties also. Per day 200, and then the other penalties also. Then
The same thing applicable for 35, 1 and 2, and 3 also.
yes, it is applicable. So the charitable institutions code numbers, which code number you should use? I said the old regime, once you take 12A registration permanent, already 12A enjoying people applying for the coming 5 years registration is otherwise known as renewal. Whereas the other side is, you are not having earlier any approval under the required sections. These sections I have told you in the previous slide. Now you want to register. Then the code number will change. Already you are having, use one code. You are not having, for example, this is the best example. Already you are having 12AA registration. The pointer is there, red light. Pointer is not there.
Yes.
In this, don't worry. So it's only moving up and down. Huh? Is there a pointer?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. This is left side. Oh, all right. So you are having for the past 20 years from the registration. Now you want to renew as the amendment. Then you go for 01 code. But first you want to apply for AA. Then go for 02 code. Form is one and the same. So this is how the registration form. Code number you should be very, very careful. Don't put the wrong code in the time of registration. So like that, all the ATG you were enjoying earlier, So then use code number 11. Earlier you were having 12AA only, never 80G. Now you want both 12AB and 80G. Then go for, because you are having already 12AA 01 code one time you apply, and again 80G fresh you want, code number 12 you apply. You are able to identify the difference? So these are all the renewals, these are all the fresh. Okay? Then, so section 10, this already first slide I have shown, again repeated. So for research institutions of 35 also, 1021 exemption is there. Any questions, sir? 12 o'clock. Okay. So shall we have 5 minutes break and then minimum up to 1:30? Will you all permit me to continue? I have prepared 33 slides, I think. We are in the 7th slide or 8th slide. So you should permit me to complete my job up to 1:30. Thank you. 5 minutes break. Residents Association, no, we will not be given. No public charity work. Because in the afternoon I will not have printer. In the hotel people I should request. Rather than that, let you print my boarding pass tomorrow morning. Abraham, ticket, flight ticket reserve. Printing boarding pass. Ticket but within 24 hours print the boarding pass. Because early morning I have to leave. We will have question answers at the end. So last half an hour, 1-2, I will try to finish by 1 o'clock the regular presentation. 1 to 1:30 we will have question answers, including those 10 questions. Only 50% from the chai chale gayi. They will come on. Okay, because you should excuse me. The subject is so diverse. To digest the subject itself, it will be a very serious topic. This is.
Sir, one thing I assure you, you are all sitting here, not come for CPE credit.
You are right.
It's for Phalguna Kumar's trust and society they have come here.
The trust in Phalguna Kumar.
Yes.
Made you come. The trust. Very senior, having problems, serious problems you are dealing, so your approach will be definitely. But some young people, they will be.
We have not come for dealing with problems. Understanding changes and the
Sir,
you are dealing with so see.
Sir, this year budget amendment itself to understand. Swearing on God, I can say 10 times I read the charitable amendments of this 22. 10 times I have read. Why? 10 times, including yesterday, sitting in the airport also I read. Why? There is a lot of practical difficulty in understanding these amendments effect. How much serious? For example, all these years, any public religious and charitable institution, if it is maintaining method of accounting accrual system, all expenses accrued are allowable, whether paid or not. One particular university, educational institution, university, gratuity provision, never it created a approved gratuity fund. Every year, gratuity payable on accrual basis, gratuity. I said, decided case law, you cannot dissolve the gratuity provision. In the business head, the officer is bound to dissolve. This is not a business head. I am having 12-year registration. Any expenses accrued, allowable. What relations are there? That is the correct interpretation. This year budget, seeing the decisions, any charitable religious institution public, irrespective of the method of accounting you are following, only on payment basis the income applied will be computed in the 2022 Finance Act. How much serious effect? 22 February 1st, assessment year, 22-23 onwards, the amendment is applicable. From 21 April, all the people were thinking, in 85% application, payable also, capital expenditure payable also, application. Both revenue payables, capital payables are now cut. So to understand one amendment, how many possibilities are there? Second time review, third time review, so many times review. It's very difficult. The subject is so much, according to me. Okay, sir. So this section 10 and section 11 exemptions we have seen. So the forms to be, let us understand the registration forms quickly. So the 10A form, as I said, is applicable to all, whether you are registering 12A, old registration, first registration, 12 possibilities, form 10A only one. 12 possibilities, 12 codes. For all the possibilities, form 10A. If you apply in form 10A, they will give you in form 10AC automatically. That means earlier physical hearing, the commissioner, each state commissioner, physically calling, you want registration, please satisfy me. Legally, otherwise. So that otherwise is not there. Now the legal satisfaction is also not there. You apply, will give automatically. But so much easily you can get the registration. So much easily they can cancel your registration also. The negative part also, you please. Because the act is so much amended, including 22, including 21. The cancellation powers are so much, but they will give you an opportunity before cancellation. So as easily they are giving you the registrations for ATC or this thing, so easily they can cancel. They will ask you the simple questions. The activity. How much charity you have done? You received ATC recognition. You received donations. How you have? 85% have you applied? What benefit the society got because of these donations? Unless you prove, they may say, it's not, they simply use the word for your information. The commissioner can examine whether it is genuine or not. If it is not genuine, commissioner can cancel. Well, AB registration, right? This is the word. Then how do you prove you are genuine? I have come here, 2 full days time. Yesterday noon I started. Tomorrow noon only I will go home. 2 full days for 3 hours. Am I genuine or not? Somebody says, why should he come unless he gets some personal benefit? If you doubt my genuineness, how to satisfy you? This is the question. Because the Hindu has said, 12 AB registration automatically given, but you should prove your genuineness when we want to examine. These are the exact words. The assessee shall prove the genuineness. If it is not found to be genuine, 12 AB can be cancelled. So how to prove the genuineness? So you should keep the records in such a way that I have genuinely done. Evidence of your doing good work, charitable work. You should prove it. For example, an education institution. In reality, more than 50% of education institutions are private people for a private benefit only running. It is a proof, ground reality, whether I am right or wrong, you understand. Some education institutions are genuine, but some education institutions, people in the name of government approved high school, government approved college, government approved nursing college, but they collect out. Then if the government is going to catch hold of such not genuine people, government has got its own ingenious way. They used the word from 1/9/2019 in these charitable institutions. If any other law, if you violate also under the Income Tax Act, we can cancel your registration. Any other law if you violate, which is having a substantial bearing on your objects. Most of the state governments, they framed the rules fixing, just like your Minimum Wages Act. Minimum Wages Act, BD workers, BD manufacturing this wage, cloth shop, salesman this much, medical shop, salesman this much. mines, quarry. That's like minimum wages, first class fees, 7th class fees, 10th class fees. State governments have fixed. But in ground reality, its implementation, 90% of state governments are not implementing it. Now the Income Tax Act can take the advantage. What is your state government fixed school fees? What is it you have written in the books of accounts, your school fees? You have violated. If any other law is violated, I can cancel your registration. That is the power given under the Income Tax Act. They brought on the statute, not directive. It's a substantial sections itself say if you violate any other. For example, in the last 2 years COVID, most of the hospitals, government fixed some RT-PCR test, you should charge only 750 rupees. Majority charge 2000 rupees. Government fixed medical fees are so much, but many violated. So all such violations, if the income tax man wants to pin down the SSC, have you complied all other laws also? You have seen in this 2022 Finance Act, Section 37, medical, pharmaceutical manufacturing companies giving incentives to doctors is not allowable under Section 37(1). You are violating that medical council. Doctors' unethical practice should not be done. Same thing applies to these public charitable institutions. One should be very careful in analyzing. So these are all the forms. As I said, 10A you apply, 10AC you will get. 10AC sometimes in the CPC by mistake may say they use the word provisional. But what is meant by provisional means fresh application only they will give provisional. If they give the provisional, within 3 years you should commence your activities and then show them that I have commenced, please give me permanent registration. If already doing activity, though you apply for fresh now, within 6 months itself you apply for getting permanent registration. That's how you should do it. Okay. So then for 80G you are having annual uploading form is 10 BD, and for the donor you should issue a certificate. That certificate is a 10 B. So these are all the new forms, new registration and new forms. Okay.
It will be automatically generated.
Yes, automatically. Once you upload 10 BD, 10 BE just like form 16 traces downloading. This 10 BE also traces the downloading one. Yes, sir.
1023 you said previous years also automatically the approval will come.
No, only from the day you apply. If you apply now, you will get only for 22 to 23 registration. For earlier years, no approval, no registration. For 1023C. Yes, sir.
Is it applicable for 80G also?
Yes, 80G now you apply from the day you get only. Sir, 80G receipts when you are giving also be careful. I have shown you. Sorry. The details are in the receipts also you should give that 16-digit number what they give. Once you apply 80G, they will give one 16-digit number. That in every receipt you should put. From the day you apply only you can give 80G. For earlier period you cannot give. Okay. So those details you should be very careful in obtaining and filling up. Then, so these are all the codes once again I have given you. So there are several codes. So that code number, be careful whether you are applying afresh on 10A or for renewal you are applying. You please see these things. And then for form 10A, what are the things? Registration, carefully what you should do. In that, in column number 2, the code is column number 1 automatically from your portal you are downloading the form means your PAN name and PAN number automatically will get downloaded. Then the code, you should select the code. Then the column 3 asks the nature of activity. Nature of activity. Either religious, charitable, religious come charitable. Be careful in selecting. You see past 3 years accounts. If Along with religion, you are doing charity, select charity also. If you are purely charitable, be charitable also. There is column number, that is row number 5. It again asks you nature of activity and the other things also. In that 5 you should select again whether it is medical relief, education, one or more, or you are having in definition section 215 the charitable purpose, education, medical relief, relief to poor, preservation of environment within brackets, forest, wildlife. That's the one question I have given. Zoo of Kerala, Trivandrum, I gave a question. So the amendment is there, 2015 amendments. So you be careful. So then, advancement of another object of public utility. For example, for Malayalam language preservation, propagation, you formed one society. It will come in? Will it come in charitable purpose? Definitely. Why? Who is going to get benefit if you preserve Malayalam language and propagate? General public. So, it will not come in medical relief, relief to poor, preservation of environment, preservation of all this. It will not come. Only it will come in advancement of another object of public utility. Sports, arts. What?
Under Income Tax Act, if somebody is forming anything, atheism, right?
It is against the belief in God.
Yeah.
Atheism.
So that community,
Huh?
can they claim under Religious Act?
No, no, you are against the religion, no? Your question itself is contradictory. I want to form a atheist association. Will it come under religious activity? You are fighting against the religion. Religion itself is a myth you are saying. Atheist means, who says, am I right, sir? Atheist means, who says religion is a dogma? No religion. Where is the God? Let me see.
What you are saying is logic. What he is talking and told that.
Yeah, but act, correct, that is what.
In the Income Tax Act, the word religion is not defined. Number 1. There are quotations which define religion is a faith in a supernatural person. Courts defined religion, several quotations. You are against that quotation. Religion means, I have no faith, you are saying. Atheist means I have no faith. Then when there is no belief in a supernatural person, how can it come in religion? My answer.
And where it should be placed.
Correct.
Ah.
That should be placed.
Sir?
In such case where you are seeing 3 categories,
Ah.
medical relief,
Ah.
religious, charitable.
Ah.
In this case where it should be placed.
Sir, it cannot be converse. You see, that's what the chartered accountants are. Cross-examination, not expert chartered accountants. That cross-examination is very crucial. You should learn the art of cross-examination. So, you are saying atheist association, where it will fit in? It will not fit in anything. Please pay the tax. It will not fit into any exemptions. Please form an association, earn the money and pay the tax. That's what it says.
General public utility.
Advancement of general public utility is a word used in the charitable purpose definition. Advancement of any other object of general public utility. So this belief, how it is going to be useful to public, you should convince the government. You should, sir, any group for anything can be formed, sir. If you don't mistake me, same gender marrying association is there. It is for general public utility. We are forming an association, same gender can marry. They went to court also. You would have seen in newspapers. So our association also for general public utility, if you argue, court said it's not for general public. They argued before the court. See, against the nature you are saying it's a sustainable marriage. So many things it happened. So beyond logic, that's why cross-examination, general comedy is there. The advocate is cross-examining a thief. Advocate is cross-examining a thief. So the advocate is putting questions and the thief is intelligently giving the answers. The advocate asks the judge, Honor, this man is not correctly answering. You should say yes or no for everything. Then the thief said, judge said, oh, come on, do yes or no. Then Your Honor, if you permit me, I will ask 2 questions to you. You say yes or no. I will ask only 1 question. You say yes or no, judge. Ask. The thief asked the judge, I am asking you, Your Honor, a question. You must say yes or no only. No other. You stopped taking bribe only from yesterday. Yes or no? If he says yes, till yesterday as if he is taking bribe. If he says no, he is continuously taking the bribe. Can there be a logic to say yes or no? Sometimes it is possible.
That's called an audit question.
The cross-examination. The examination, cross-examination says yes or no, you should not argue. To my question, you should say the yes or no. So like the cross-examination is such an art, the things are not eligible. Okay. So, the attachments in filling up form 10 attachments, you would have done, majority would have done. Whoever has not done, please raise the hand. You would have undergone all these things only because the chairman asked me to explain the registration procedure and explain. Would have majority would have applied. So even if there is no clause like irrevocable, is it irrevocable? Number 6. Invariably you say irrevocable. It is there. Why? Because you cannot. That money would you have a donor, a promoter, having started it with 1 crore, 1 rupee cannot take back. So then it is irrevocable only. Either under trust law or under society or under Section 8 company. So you say irrevocable. Then if you say for column number 9, column number 9, the promoters details, the managing people's details. So for all of them, the name, 1 ID number. There are several things: PAN number, Aadhaar, driving license, passport. Like. So for everyone, code is given. You select a code, automatically that you get. So then column number 10, the form 10A asks you, have you filed the return for the assessment year for which the due date time has already over? If you say yes, sir, from 11 to 19, it will get blocked. You need not fill up anything. That means whether you are already registered or fresh registered, if you have filed the return for an assessment year for which due date is over. For example, now the due date is over for 21-22. So for 21-22, you have filed the return. In that filling up the column, earlier 3 years accounts need not be attached. If you have not filed the return, then it will ask you earlier 3 years self-certified accounts, please, not necessarily I. So my advice, even for a fresh registration, never you have applied for AB, prepare 3 years accounts. Better audited. Don't file the return. Now you apply for registration. 3 years accounts means people think, let the 3 years returns be filed, then apply. No. Account should be ready. No question. So you are the expert in preparing the accounts in such a way. All the last 3 years, 85% applied, surety done, one activity report you have to attach. Then you apply. Automatically you get the list. Here afterwards be perfect. What the imperfections? Make perfect. Push them beyond 3 years. Because the one crucial aspect what you should understand, up to 17-18 assessment year, without any registration, whether releases or charitable, corpus fund donations are not at all taxable up to 17-18 assessment year. All your present assets are 17-18, up to 17-18 accumulated money only. Only from 18-19 assessment year, if it is unregistered corpus fund donations, then it can be treated as income under the head other sources. But even that you can overcome because of 12 capital A subsection 2. Even that, because as if section 11 is applicable, if you take registration now means section 11 subsection 1 clause D, all corpus donations are exempt. So you have evidence of all these things, you can come out of successfully by registration. So These are all the things which you have to attach to that Form 10A. Then these are all the rules. So Form 10A, under different rules, different forms were merged into one form. So these are all nothing but I have been explaining. So on or before March 31st, 22, try to apply if at all you are not doing. Why I say? Definitely after 2 years, if you are not taking registration now, your PAN number is linked to your bank account. Transactions in the bank account are voluminous. No return is filed. Because you are not taking registration, you are not filing the return of income. So anybody having substantial transactions in the bank account, not filing the return of income, for some reason or the other, notices are bound to come. Just now in the tea break, one madam brought one madam. What is that notice? 148 notice. No notice. No. When I asked you, she said she raised her hand. She received the notice. In my view, 100% that is exempt, provided I go through the details. Employees Association bank account had some transactions. So now a notice is given. So you are having a bank account transaction, why you have not filed the return? So for every association, notice is bound to come. So better, if you are well-wisher of some school, some association, but not the association my friend has asked, because legally not. What association? Residents Association, an apartment dwellers association is there. Sir, can it now register on 12AB? It cannot. 12AB registration, for whom it is given? Public religious purpose. Apartment association is not religious purpose. Public charitable purpose. Apartment association bylaws, what it says? For the benefit of identified people. What is meant by public? Public means unidentified people is public. Identified people's benefit if you form an association. It's not public. Please understand. So it cannot register under 12AB. That's my answer. Okay. Then, so the 16-digit number will come. Better in all your correspondence you should mention this. And then these are all the what all I have explained. So within 3 months you will get. Nowadays they are giving within 10 days, 50 days itself. CPC is giving. So you apply online, they will give it. But when they ask for, the commissioner gives a notice. You please substantiate your activities, then only we will give the permanent registration. You should be capable of doing it. And as you all know, from 1920 onwards, 40 small a, IA, and 40 capital A3 is equally applicable to all the charitable institutions, religious institutions. That means their income is exempt. Because of their expenditure, if somebody is getting income covered by TDS provisions, unless you satisfy your TDS provisions, you will have the taxable income. Majority of my colleagues are under the wrong impression. A religious institution or a charitable institution, the non-TDS expenditure is 5%, 10%. In that 15% it will go. Where is the question of tax, sir? It is not the meaning, it is not the interpretation. Even if you have 5% non-TDS expenditure, for that 5% you should pay the income tax, not that you have applied 90% correctly. 5% only is the difference. For that 5% you have to pay the income tax. That is the correct interpretation of the law. So you should see that 100% they will comply the law. So charitable institutions, they are more stringent. For example, tax audit report. They are not filed by February 15th. Now, March 31st, we will file the tax audit report and the return also. Nothing will happen. Even if they do 271B notice, by tax audit report 44AB, you are not uploaded. Sir, some fever, some death in our family, this, that, the reasonable cost, 273 capital B, you can avoid the penalty. Charitable institution, if you have not filed the audit report within the time, your section 11 exemption is totally. So that is the seriousness. So you have charitable institutions audit report, business tax audit report. Give the priority to charitable institutions. Because if you don't file the audit report, your total exemption collapses. Whereas in the business, nothing collapses. Even if the audit report is needed. So the priority is more important. So compliance of law is more important. These are what all I have already explained. Then Form 10A requirements also I have explained you. That's the, if you have got any other registration number like FCRA or 12A, that number you should give. If the document is not registered, I gave you one question. 200 years old temple, can it register? Yes. Where is the deed? No deed is there. That's why in Form 10A, under which act you are registered? Societies Act, Companies Act, Trust Act, others, one column will be there. What is that others? In majority cases, some cases, I cannot say, in some cases, under section 92 of the Civil Procedure Code, a court has got a power. Under section 92 of the Civil Procedure Code, a court has got the power to intervene in the public religious matters, public charitable matters. Classical example of that section 92 CPC is your Tirunantapuram temple. Classical example. Hundreds of temples, hundreds of engineering colleges, hundreds of medical colleges are interfered by these high courts, supreme courts and jurisdictional courts. Because whether the temple jewelry is properly accounted, managed or not, a person can approach the court, third party, a public man, under section 92 of the CPC. So, the courts appoint a neutral person as trustee. Here afterwards, remove those promoters, remove those elected members. I am appointing as court. This engineering college, this medical college, this temple shall be administered here afterwards. They too must apply under 12AB, under the others column. This trustees coming into operation because of the court decision. They should apply. They should. Just like your Companies Act, liquidator has to inform the income tax officer about directors have gone. I am the liquidator, now in charge. Tell me what is your due, or appeal of the company. Liquidator has to file the appeals. So like that, the trustees to do. Okay, then.
Sir, Trust Act is 1872, right?
1882.
1880.
Evidence Act 1872. Indian Evidence Act 1872.
A trust or an ashramam formed before that. There is no document.
Can apply even now. Only the present trustee should give a declaration. Sir, this is a 200 years old trust. No document is there. I am now acting as a trustee. I am giving you. I got the mutts, especially Adi Shankara Mutt, Kanchi Mutt, Sungeri Mutt. 1000 years old. Where is the document? Mutt is existing. 1000 years. Documents are there. How can I get you a registered trust deed under Trust Act? So, some time memorial is there. Give a declaration. They are eligible for registration. Any other questions, sir? Number of decisions. It's not my interpretation. If you want, I will give the citations. Number of decisions. Without a document, declaration. That's sufficient. So then, sir, Form 10A requirements continued. So the others, the executive members. So one question here is,
the government fund, the Darpan registration is required for government fund.
Darpan is not statutory, but the central government says, if you want FCRA registration, give me the Darpan registration. Government funds, if you want enjoying, better register with the Darpan.
MLA fund, if will that come under
Pardon?
MLA fund?
MLA fund, MLA fund used by the society, yeah? Generally, collector is the authority. For MLAs, MPs, the MP lads you will call MP lads. Collector is the authority, check signing authority. No society will be allowed to deal with the MP funds, MP lads. I was chartered account certificate is necessary. For the past 10-15 years, for several MP funds, I am auditing. But their Darpan is not necessary. So societies cannot deal with those such funds. By chance, if MLA through a society spends the money, then it is a government fund used to register. Darpan registration is extra. Transparency sake. So copy of trust deed available you give. Otherwise,
Therefore, renewal is it necessary?
pardon?
Renewal of existing registration, Darpan registration.
That's what, sir. Darpan, if government funds are there, or if you are having FCRA foreign funds you are using, better you register Darpan because it's mandatory. Darpan is not by act. The government says, unless you Darpan number you give, I will not allow you for FCRA registration.
FCRA.
Yes. So, these are all the requirements I have already dealt with. So, Form 12, 10AB benefit. I said 10A is going to end by this month end. Either for renewal of old 12A or 1023C or fresh 80C or old 80C for all that form 10A. 10AB when? 10AB when you applied 10A and got a provisional registration. I said already renewal means for 5 years. Fresh you are applying, they will give you a provisional registration. Provisional registration, what the conditions? Two conditions they say. Within 3 years, if you commence your activity, from the day of commencement within 6 months, you apply in form 10AB for a provisional to 5 years. 5 years, otherwise known as permanent. Or within 3 years, last 6 months before, then also provisional you can convert into either commencement of activity within 6 months from the commencement of activity, or before the expiry of the 3rd year, 6 months before you apply, we will give you. That is form 10AB. What is the difference between form 10A and 10AB? Form 10A is having 21 columns. Form 10AB is having 27, 6 columns extra. So those 6 columns are from, say, those 6 columns are nothing but the extent of land, how many institutions you are having. I am having the slide. How many, for example, you may have one college, one high school, one nursing college, one BEd college. So institutions names, because you would have opened the bank accounts in the name of such institution. Narayana BEd college, Shankara nursing college, like that. So they want to coordinate with one PAN, with one 16-digit number, how many institutions you are running. They want to know, because your bank accounts are in the name of such institutions. No? Those recognition. They will say, for my activity, though your institution is one, for every activity you open a separate bank account. So the Income Tax Act wants that. So those institutions names you should give. In ITR 7 also it has. So those institutions names you give separately. The land you give separately. Majority of the religious institutions sold the land. They got 10 acres, 20 acres, 100 acres, 1000 acres. Every year sell some land, get something on record, get something off the record, left and right they dealt with the fixed assets. So this 10AB form, what is the land? A, got as gift. B, acquired cost. Buildings, how much square meters? Got as gift. Built, acquired, what is the cost? This 10AB, when you go to renewal, columns you have to fill up, it is asking you. So the trust or society shall give all these details, otherwise we cannot. So the other possibility is, you are having for the past 20 years 12A, you applied form 10A and got for 5 years. But within these 5 years, at any time, an activity which is not in the original registered objectives you want to take up. For example, yours is an education institution. Only education objectives you might have had. You have taken from AB registration. Now, suddenly floods have come in Kerala. You want to do relief to poor activity. Because yours is a big education institution, good quality education. Your parents, you are doing good work. Your students' parents will give you money to do relief activity. You are having the resources, teachers, staff. So if you want to take up a new activity, first you must check the objectives, propose an objective, better take prior permission of the commissioner and then undertake the act. The act says within 30 days of changing you apply. If they reject, then total things will collapse. So there is a possibility. I am passing the resolution subject to your approval. The jurisdictional commissioner, not CPC, the jurisdictional commissioner, you should apply, then he will give the permission, then only you implement that new objective, then you take up the new activity. Otherwise, don't do it. When you are doing auditing also, every year that form 10BB for 1023C, 10B for 12A registrations, when you are doing auditing also, what are the original objections? Every rupee spent, is it for objectives? Which are 4 objectives. For each object, every voucher, general administration fund, some expenses. Because in the ITR 7, administration expenses separately it has. For objects, how much you have spent. For administration, how much you have spent. ITR 7 return filing is asking. So when you do the audit itself, unless you classify, how can you fill up the ITR 7? How can you do the audit report? As per the objects only they have applied. So please take it. So then, charitable trust. So cancellation power, not genuine. So I have already substantiated. You must prove that is genuine. Otherwise I will say, somebody else, my neighbor will put it. But he is not genuine. He is getting a lot of funds. Then commission, please prove your genuineness. I got the letter. Very difficult thing. So nowadays, even if you do good work, definitely some people will throw the stones. So in their own color glasses, they will look at you. So chairman may do good work, but somebody no, chairman might have some personal benefit. Throwing stone is a very easy thing nowadays. Then prove your genuineness. The act says. So if you don't prove, cancel the registration. So very difficult thing. So the activities are not carried out as per objects. You see, genuineness is doing the wrong thing. Second, these are the words from the act, not my words. The activities are not carried out as per the objects. In that society, election will be there. Somebody got defeated. What that fellow will take the revenge? He will say they are doing genuine activities, but not as per objects. He will throw some. So that will come to examination by the commission to cancel the registration. Like, no, having got defeated, he wants to see that they will pay the income tax, not enjoy the exemption. So these are all the difficulties. Please see. So the 2022 Finance Act, 4 new words brought for this 1023C and 12A, which is more important for you. Specified violation, specified person, specified income. So these words newly defined for 1023C and 12AB, new words. What they say? The violations, positively some violations. For that, the income shall be taxed at 30%. Without cancelling 12A. For example, in time you have not filed your audit report. Then it is a specific violation. Then 30% tax. So how it is? So few slides I will show you. So now these are all the registrations. When it can be cancelled, you should be see positively getting registration is easy, but you should preserve that registration without cancellation. That's why I have mentioned that these are also very important. Then the recent amendments, quickly I will go through. As I said, in computing the income of a public, religious or charitable trust, not only the revenue expenditure, capital expenditure incurred out of the income and ease application can be counted upon for 85% application. But once a capital asset eligible for depreciation is already claimed, second time its depreciation is. So 2 possibilities are now possible. Either you can claim in the year of incurring the asset cost, claim it as application, don't claim depreciation. Such assets you keep in the schedule as a separate assets. Assets cost already claimed, one depreciation schedule, fixes. Second, you didn't claim, you want accumulation. So the money should be there to that extent. So then, every year you can claim depreciation on the cost, on WDV basis. So fixed assets, 2 types you should maintain to satisfy this condition. Similarly, 40A3, more than 10,000 rupees, cash payment should not be there. All expenditure must be subject to TDS. So the section 11.1 explanation 3 also puts the conditions to be satisfied. So any related party expenditure, be more careful. Wife and husband teachers, they started a school, really doing good work, but how can they survive their family, meet their family expenses unless they take a salary? but that salary must be reasonable, comparable arm's length price. So though they are doing genuine work, genuine salary should be there allowed. So that reasonableness, very, very carefully you should plan, otherwise it's difficult. So compliance requirements of any other law, it has come from 1/9/2019, you should be careful. So the ATG procedures, as I told you, you must upload the form in 10 BD, then only you will get in form 10 BE the certificate. Then the general exemptions already I have discussed you, that 1 crore to 5 crores also I have explained you. Then the corpus fund donations last year amendment, very, very, very careful. As abundant precaution, I am giving you a practical tip. What is that practical tip? If at all you are auditing a charitable institution or a religious institution availing the exemption, my personal advice to you, summing up the rules is: A, for their general income, let them have a general bank account, one bank account. General income means school fees remittance, or somebody going and giving an ordinary donation. For all these things, have one bank account. Meet all your revenue expenditure from that bank account. Second, somebody is giving a corpus fund donation, substantial money. Example, in the name of my father, let the school have an endowment fund. Old Students Association, one scholarship fund, one endowment fund. There are corpus specific funds, corpus funds have separate bank account. Why? That corpus funds, section 11(1)(d) exemption you can avail. 3 conditions should satisfy. A, donor's intention must be in writing. 2, with identity. 2, that money shall be used for that purpose only. If used for revenue, salaries, electricity charges, that 11(1)(d) exemption is not there. So, that separate bank account you have, how much you get? By mistake or say by force, salary sir, no money sir, government has not given the fees reimbursement. So you use the corpus fund money for revenue. Then to that extent will become revenue income, revenue expenditure is allowed, no problem. In the next year or subsequent year when you are replenishing from your ordinary income, you can again put in bank FD, this corpus fund. In that year it will be allowed as exemption. So you must identity keeps. Third, any assets you sold, any land you sold, any investments you sold, a temple's gold jewelry you sold, temple offerings you sold. So sales proceeds, section 11, subsection 1, capital A, if you keep in 6 months FD, the sales proceeds will not give you any income. In common parlance, capital gains income. Capital gains is only for other than charitable institution. For charitable institution, no question of capital gains computation, but income, say it will not be income. So to avoid that taxable income where 85% you should apply, you should keep that money minimum for 6 months in bank FD. Then it's not coming in 85% application, no income. So third type of bank FDs. Fourth, very, very important. 90% people are not careful. What is the fourth type of bank dealing? Whenever there is a shortfall of 85%, you can file Form 10 and within 5 years I will apply this money, you say. The first and important condition is the moment you are having shortfall, the moment you are opting for Form 10, that money must be in a separate bank account, identified bank account. In ITR 7 you should show, in your every year account you should show. Only in the year in which you want for a specific purpose application, that money only withdraw, that money only apply. Accordingly, auditor certify, as per the act they have withdrawn, applied. In the written form filling, in the audit report, Form 10B, there is a question about it. Mixing all this within one bank account, majority people clubbed it, ultimately tax has to be. Conditions you will satisfy. If you don't satisfy the return, filing Form 10 is very easy. Shortfall, they will come after 6 months only, after the end of the year. By that time, the money would have been used left and right. So, only for patchwork if you do, it will not satisfy the condition. So the fourth type of bank deposits. So minimum 4 types you should maintain. Be careful about these things. Okay. So this.
Sir, the asset sold.
Pardon?
Fixed asset sold. They are selling it for some requirement. So
Okay.
how can we?
You call it as income and then apply 85%. Requirement is there. Don't keep in bank FD. You want exemption, keep in FD separately for them to satisfy the condition. You are regular user for salary section, money is not there. Survey sold the land, salary is met. Natural, it is income. You apply. There is no problem.
So if you receive fixed assets,
How
do you account that?
It's a very good question. Sir, any charitable institution, if it receives fixed assets as donation, if land means gift, gold means donation. So, ICAI has given one accounting standard, all gifted items at 1 rupee value keep in the books of accounts. Because cost of acquisition is 0, but asset to maintain, keep it 1 rupee. When you sell, whatever the sale proceeds, 100 rupees is your income. So that you should use for either keep in a bank FD and claim exemption, or you apply for your expenditure and 85% claim the expenditure. Both ways possible. So these are all the things. So capital receipts, how it will be. So I have dealt with this case law also for your information. So corpus fund donations, the new conditions are there. What is the word exactly used in red letters? That corpus fund money shall be maintained specifically for such corpus. So maintained specifically words, 2 words, you must satisfy to claim exemption of this corpus.
If no purpose is mentioned,
It is a corpus, sir.
purpose.
Sir,
Objectives.
simply, I am giving it to you corpus. Corpus means, generally what is the dictionary meaning of corpus? Dictionary meaning of corpus. After the death, the body is known as corpus. That is the dictionary meaning. Whereas, the meaning here in this articulation, corpus means original body, basic foundation, fund, capital. Otherwise, we are all familiar with the word. Corpus is the, for charitable institution of calling capital, it is known as corpus. So, it is capital I am giving you, then you keep it. No purpose, keep it in it. That's all. Okay, so this is the maintained specifically from 21-22 financial year amendment. Be careful. So then corpus for donations new. I have continued from corpus fund. If you donation to us also, it's not application. So you will lose it. So it's all one should be very careful. So the new conditions you should satisfy. I'm giving this PPT to the branch already given, copied. So you please once again go through these conditions. If you are not satisfying these conditions, also what will happen? I have explained. So loans earlier from the bank they used to get a loan and meet the expenditure, claim the expenditure as 85% application. No, they said from your income if you meet only it is 85%. From the loan if you meet, from the corpus fund if you meet, it's not. So that's how they amended. So the early decisions they have annulled by bringing these amendments. Loans repayment is not an application. If you use for revenue expenditure, so then the earlier years losses also, excess expenditure, no loss set off or carry forward was there. Courts used to say, yes, in earlier year their expenditure, now in the current year income you treat as current year application carry forward. The law is specifically amended. No question of the earlier years excess expenditure or loss or excess allowance, earlier year depreciation not avail. I think only for business people, earlier year depreciation is equal to current year depreciation allowable. Here it is not. So, ATG reductions, the conditions are there. So, amendments, you please go through ATG, the donor. So, unless a certificate is obtained from the donor, unless the trust is approved there, the person who is giving a receipt must already get approved. These are all the conditions to get the ATG deduction. Then, this year 2022 amendments, these are all from this slide onwards. 4 slides you are going to get. 2022 amendments. These 2022 amendments are those ATG recognized religious ATGs normally for charitable only. For religious institutions, ATG registration will not be given. But for certain religious institutions, this specific ATG to be is there. That temple for renovation, old temple 200 years old, unless the public give donation, how can the temple be renovated, church or gurdwara? So for that ATG to be says, those institutions can receive the donations and claim deduction donors' hands. So for them, whatever they receive is a corpus fund donation. They should use only for the temple renovation capital expenditure. This year budget has specifically amended. Similarly, now 5th year to 6th year is the interpretational issue. Section 11(3)(c). That dilemma, dichotomy is removed. You will form for 5 years. In the 6th year also, because the drafting was there earlier. Now they said no question of 6th year, either 1023(c) or 11(2). You have to necessarily within 5 years only. If 5th year is over means that becomes the income of the 5th year, not the 6th year. Earlier it was there. In 5 years you have not spent, at best it can become the income of 6th year earlier. But now it's not the case. It will become the income of the 5th year itself. So within 5 years it should apply. Specifically they amended in 2022 Finance Act. Then the 1023 also inserted that section 11(3) and 11(4). For this sake they made the amendments. So the audit report 1023 also earlier, the 270 will be penalty. Just as a joke I will tell you. You would have seen some 6-7 years back in Ballari, Karnataka, illegal mining. To which extent illegal mining? Several people. To which extent illegal mining? 100 crores? 200 crores? 5,000 crores. One fellow's turnover, 4,000 crores, 3,000 crores. What is the turnover? I exported the iron ore, sir. Where is your iron ore purchase license? Where is your iron ore extracting mine? No license, sir. Some street vendor sold me the iron ore. I purchased it. I exported. Export income exemption. So, income tax. It is a business, illegal business. How much? Where are the books of? I have not maintained any books. You have not maintained books of accounts. Turnover above 1 crore. Tax audit. I have not maintained books. Where is the question of audit reports, sir? Decided cases. I am giving you live cases. Many people used it for tax. Even now, one fellow asked me just 1 week back, asked me, sir, I have done real estate business for the past 10 years. 148 notice issued. That's 3 days back, as I said. Now only department gave notice. This fellow, real estate, done cross, no written file. Now he received notice. What is it I have to do? I simply said, in reality, are you having maintained books of account? No, sir. Crores and crores has come to my account. Crores and crores has come. No voucher, no source, no nothing. What is it? There, you have to pay the tax. First thing, all these years, whatever the bank credits, you admit as turnover. Second thing, on the turnover, real estate, how much is the reasonable? Sir, I will admit 5%. They will put you behind the bus, admit 12.5% better. So all the 6 years, 10 crore turnover, 20 crore turnover, admit 12.5%. Pay the tax. And then you say, as on this date, my assets this much. 6 years back, my assets this much. I have paid more income tax, I have shown more income. That much assets I am not having. In reality, then the government will not do it. That's how the approach. See, the same technique the Ballari people 10 years back, what they have applied, 500 crores turnover, 1,000 crores turnover, everything illegal. They say, yes, illegal. No purchase voucher, but payments. So if the books of accounts are not there, audit is not there, no penalty, was the legal decision. Based on that, this year 2022 tax audit, books of accounts maintenance is must. Only government realized no. Because a trust shall file the audit report. Sir, I have no books of accounts, so I am not having audit report. That reasonable cost cannot be taken. Now this year amendment, books shall be maintained. Then audit the prescribed books. They are not yet prescribed. To get such books, as auditing professionals, we know what are the proper books. Proper books are those books which will give the information for the defined audit format. Defined financial statements information giving books are the proper books. The definition of books of accounts cannot give. So that's how charitable trusts also. Now only the government prescribed books of accounts both for 1023C and for the earlier only audit report was prescribed. Now books are also prescribed fundamentally. So these are all the things. To submit the audit report within the time, submit the return of income within the time, and one lacuna. Charitable trust assessing officer is one. Registration authority is one. If assessing officer finds mistake, can he deny the exemption and then complete the assessment? Legally difficult. Legally difficult. Assessing officer, you are not the authority who gave me the registration. How can you cancel say and then you are not eligible for registration? I will levy the tax. You cannot. So the legal difficulty is code 144(3). It says assessing officer shall refer to the principal commissioner or commissioner to give a direction for cancellation of that exemption. Then as per the direction of the principal commissioner or commissioner, he must wait for the. So by the time limit assessment shall be completed, the time limit is also gets extended to the intervening period. All these amendments have come now. Then another new beautiful penalty for this 1023 CR12A. Earlier no penalty was there. So this 271 AAE, any promoters or any executive members getting any personal benefit, if they get the benefit, to the extent of the benefit they get, separate penalty. First time 100% of the income used. Second year also if it continued, normally by that time second year also will be over, because scrutiny, identifying stage, 2 years you would have used. For example, I gave you teacher's salary. You will say 50,000 is reasonable. The officer, no, 25,000. You paid all the other teachers 25,000 per month, and you being the managing committee member, so you both your wife and husband took 50,000 rupees per month. I will say 25,000 extra. No, 25,000. 100% penalty. First year. Second year for that 200% penalty. New penalty section, this finance act, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, this will become finance bill of February 1st will become by March 31st the act. Then this will become the act. Now these are all in the provisions. So these also, I said specified violation is defined now. That means AB4, a new section. If you violate, it is a cause for cancellation. So specified violation defined. Separate books are not maintained for business. Then what is business? That business must be incidental to your main objects. So many new things have come. Unless you carefully go through these amendments, it's very difficult for the trust to maintain. As I told you, a big public limited company CFO can understand the law, income tax provisions easily. For a trust CFO, unless he understands each word of these amendments, it's very difficult. It's such a difficult job now. Specified violation is explained. So from 23-24 onwards, taxable income computation. So in case for small violations like not submitting in time the audit report, not submitting in time the return of income, such violations, this a new computation says only revenue expenditure will be allowed against the revenue income, because till this amendment, what was the position? Two possibilities. Without registration, some activity is taken up, means whether education activity, medical activity, under the normal 5 heads only income computation, without income tax act registration, a public activity is taken up by a religious, public religious temple. Normal other heads only. Religious temple activity comes in, other source income. So normal 5 heads computation possibility. Second possibility, having registration not complied, computing the income under section 11(12), you are not something. So section 11 exemption totally is cancelled. For example, one chartered accountant having 12A registration for a big public education institution. In the ITR 7, he, while filling up, have you got 1023 CR 12A registration? He simply said no, filed the ITR. What the CPC has done? Gross receipts, 30% tax. For education institution, gross receipts, how can there be 30% tax? So this sort of anomalies were there. So now they brought the amendment. What they said, in case you have a 12A registration, but you are not satisfied these positive conditions, section 11 got positive conditions, section 13 got negative conditions. If these positive conditions are violated, your income computation is a separate computation method in these both 1023C and 1310 new section 13, the newly brought from 23-24 assessment year. This is effective. So this is how a new computation, only 30% income, the tax on this new income is being calculated. Okay. Then the charitable trust 115 BBI. That's what, just like 115 BBE 60%, 115 BBI on that income 30% tax has to be levied. So the violations, as I told you, 143(3), the ASIC officer shall refer and as directed by the principal committee. He may cancel, he may not cancel. For him also time bound, 6 months. The moment the ASIC officer refers, within 6 months, in a quarter, they didn't say month, in the quarter in which the ASIC officer refers, within 6 months the principal CT has to pass the order. That's how these are the new amendments. So application is a last but one slide. So from 21-22 financial year, assessment year 22-23, no question of accrued expenditure, only cash payment basis, whether it is a revenue expenditure or capital expenditure. On cash basis, income application is being considered. Okay. So now we will go to Word document. Word document. So the 10 questions, quickly I will go through. In another 10-15 minutes, with question answers we will complete.
Sir, what is the form for uploading 3502 donations like 80G, 10 BD? What is the form
For that also the same form. Same. So, this is very important. No, not like that. Not like that. After next page they make up. No, I gave 2 pages. So this is size, paper size. Small letters. No, I gave Word document. Display of Word document. Sir, quickly I will go through. First one is Advocates Bar Association wants to register. Can it register? Advocates Bar Association, if it is meant for only advocates' benefit, it is a principle of mutuality. If they want to do public service also, what the public service? Free legal aid. Then if they are going to do the free legal aid, definitely it can be registered under 12AB. So I gave you the CPT circular. Please go through the circular. Trade associations, professional associations can also be registered. This is the answer. Because generally you will have dilemma. So for that I have taken this question. Second question. Kerala government wants us because in the zoo entrance ticket is necessary. Because you are selling the tickets, is it a commercial activity? No. That is selling the tickets for Malayalam promotion, for Kathakali promotion. If you are selling the tickets for the dance, it comes in advancement of another objectivity. Not more than 20% of your gross receipt should be by sale of tickets. By sale of tickets in 1 year, if you are having more than 20%, it is no longer a charitable purpose. Even if you have 12AB, that year income shall be calculated because it is advancement of another object. Whereas here zoo, environment. So the word preservation of environment means wildlife also. So here you can get. So this one decision also I have given. This is second question. It is eligible for registration. Next, third question. Trivandrum Rotary Club owned blood bank. I told you, this. What is a medical relief place? If a doctor, a qualified doctor is doing some activity, it is all medical relief. So, if for a blood bank, national policy is a qualified doctor should certify the blood. So, then it is a medical relief activity only. That's what the third question answer. So, it is eligible for registration. Then fourth one, Kerala University one. Sir, a university income funded by government unconditionally without any registration is exempt. But here the question I gave, this university with a foreign university is doing research, investing their money, and ultimately they are selling that research benefit knowledge to commercial people and earning income. So then it's a business incidental to education. So you must take 12AB registration. Though you are originally automatic route, for a commercial activity, you should come to 12AB, because this research results are selling money also is used for education. They are not distributing as dividend, they are not using the money. So this commercial activity is incidental to main activity, using this money also for this thing. Then you should go for 12AB registration at that time. So this is very, very important. So then fifth question, a particular community of Kottayam construction map. There are a number of decisions. Fifth question please. There are number of decisions this side, that side. Madras High Court, in the case of Sengundar, this thing, Tamil Nadu government gave land and funds for a particular community marriage hall. Generally, government for minorities marriage hall, they will give one land, one fund. Then if the government promotes, it is not a commercial activity, High Court says. Private people who construct a marriage hall and then go on letting out, it is taxable. It is not a charitable. So number of decisions this side, this many decisions are there. You please see. So the marriage hall constructed by a particular community is eligible for 12AB registration. Number of decisions this side, that side. The summary is, if it is for the public benefit, not like a hotel marriage hall or say some other convention center, we are giving for poor people common facilities. So then it is eligible for 12AB. Controversial things are there. That's why I have given the question in number of cases. Next, sixth question. So the Travancore Division Board, you are having the Ayyappa temple. It is managed by Travancore Division Board. A government constituted board which is administering several temples need not have 12AB registration. Automatically the Division Board incurs exam under 1023 BBA. It need not have. But if it wants, under 12AB they can register because it's a public religious activity. Still they can claim. But it did not. That's the answer. Then, seventh question, Edward Road Church is having some different. So this is the real live question I got from Trishur. I answered this. A particular church, more than 200 years old. It is having several shops let out. The officer says, you are doing commercial activity. Advancement of another public activity you are covered. Your income is a commercial income. How can I give a 12AB? Because you are having 12A, I will not give exemption. The officer said, you are wrong, sir. Don't see my income side and then decide what I am. See my expenditure side. I am a church, religious institution. I have to survive means, if church coming people are not giving me sufficient money, I constructed the shops and rental income I am using for only religious propagation. So, see my expenditure side. I am spending only for religious activity. So, still I am eligible for exemption. So, the total income is exempt. This is a live case. Then, eighth question. Nowadays in the newspapers you are seeing nutraceuticals. Ramdev Baba is giving left and right nutraceuticals because nowadays people are all health conscious. I will give you food supplements. I will give you food supplements. Is the food supplements coming under medical relief is the question. Food supplements is not medical relief. What is medical relief? Either mental, physical, some deformity, including physiotherapy is medical relief. But giving food supplements, cosmetic treatments is not relief. If you go to GST Act, a doctor's services are all not liable for GST. But a particular doctor who is putting only dentures, 100% liable for GST. Why denture? It is not an ailment, only cosmetic treatment. Pay the GST, 18%. So GST people are doing, in service tax also this was there, only in GST. So what is medical relief, what is not medical relief? Everything doctor doing is not medical relief. You should be very careful. So that's how I gave the example, the food supplements otherwise known as nutraceutical. Some people gave Ayurvedic nutraceutical. Ultimately it is food. No question of Ayurveda, this name, that name, it is not eligible. So that's how you should see, that's how I gave this question. Next one. So 9th and 10th question, I will complete. So 10 chartered accountants want to do, though it may look a negative question. You see, what the chartered accountant want to do? They are consulting a psychiatrist to give the counsel because Nowadays, many couples are taking divorce for simple cause. Because you have taken 2 eggs in front of me while eating, I want to give divorce to you. I don't like you eating that much. So for simple causes, nowadays people are taking divorce. These 10 chartered accountants want to give counseling for them. Yeah, life is not. You agree to disagree, that's all. Why you want to take? So now this is it a charitable activity? As you said, atheist, that no, is also a thing. These people want to do that charitable activity. Is it eligible for B? Is the question. So what it is? Social welfare. Every state government, central government is having social welfare. What do you mean by social welfare? Let the people live happily. What we are doing? Let them together live happily. Then it comes in the social welfare. So it comes in social welfare. Definitely it is coming in advancement of another people. So this is also a live case. I have put it in another way. I used the CA's name, but somebody else has done it. So this is the experience. So last question. The state government quantity is suitable. This I have already answered you in my session. That without any document, any mutt, any church, I know. As I gave you a tissue example, church 200 years old. I have seen no document. Petitions period it started. So without document also you can register. So these are all the questions. Now general questions, please. Thank you. Closing. So this is there with the branch. You can circulate hard copy.
If 12-year registration is removed in the implication, which means it will get taxed at the gross level, right?
Your question is 3 parts. If 12AB registration is removed, A, there is one section 115 TD. By chance the commissioner cancels the registration, the assets market value is liable for tax. 115 TD, whether it will come. Second, if commissioner cancels the 12A registration, then what happens? If there is no registration, under the 5 heads you should calculate it. Third, only simple violation is there, then instead of a 5 heads calculation, I told you taxable calculation from 23 to 24 materials. This is the third part. So like 3 different answers are there in 3 different situations. Okay. Sir, any other question?
Sir, when this 115 TD will apply?
You go to 115 TD section, read it. A, in case it is wound up and within 1 year to a similar object, similar institution having similar 12A registration assets are not transferred, 115 TD will come. B, in case its registration is cancelled, it will come. So like that 115 TD, 3 situations they are given. Section is very clear.
So if it is cancelled by the
then market value of the assets you have to pay, not on the income. Land, somewhere else.
That is in addition to the income tax.
You are right. The 115 TD is a tax levying section. How to levy the tax for violations here. Very, very draconian section from 2016 onwards. Sir, any other questions, sir?
Sir, all fine.
Question.
10 BD. What about anonymous donations?
Sir, religious institutions can have anonymous donations. 115 BBC will not apply. 115 BBC, any religious institution can have a hundi, can have anonymous donations. Other than religious charitable institutions shall not have anonymous. For every 10 rupees, 100 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 5 lakhs rupees, you have to maintain the donor's name. Whatever the donor's name you are not maintaining, it becomes anonymous donation. Anonymous donations, total donations 5% or some 1 lakh rupees, they said whichever is higher is the limit exempt under 115 BBC, remaining is taxable at 30%. That means out of your donations of 1 crore, for 15 lakhs you are not able to give the names. Then 5 lakhs will be exempt. The 10 lakhs will be taxable at 30%. The remaining 85 lakhs charitable donation, you apply 85%. Tax paid income you remove, remaining thing 85% you apply.
Donations are directly credited to the bank account without the connection.
That is a latest technology difficulty. Every charitable institution opens a bank account, gives its bank name. Whoever wants to donate, please transfer to my account. Many people will transfer. The income tax officer says, who has given you the money? Tell me the name. Sir, I don't know the names. They are all credited to my account. So you don't give the transfer because act you have to comply. If the lacuna, why so much black money, so many terrorist groups, they all created in the name of charity. Then how the government can control? See the difficulty of the government, positive side. If you anonymous donate, if you are not brought to tax, many people get back money there for some other purpose. So much will come into that. So you say you don't open a bank account, you instruct the banker unless the other person gives his identity. Don't receive the money. You send it back to the person. A banker can reject or accept, no? The money depositing, a banker, if you give instruction to reject the money unless the other person gives his identity, don't accept. So that's how it's a very difficult question. Yes, sir.
So is religious come charitable? Is it necessary that you should have two separate accounts for religious and this, or how, the only collection comes from religious?
You are right. You are right. If you are going to take religious come charitable, religious activities income expenditure, charitable activities income expenditure, you have to separately maintain. Otherwise, both the things you cannot argue before the department. It's very difficult. Very difficult. What you say as religious anonymous, they may say charitable. They may say charitable and pay 30%. So if you are having both religious come charitable, very difficult unless specifically demarcate and then comply the law.
So show this anonymous donation in the 10BD statement.
Sir,
10BD.
10BD requires you the name, his PAN number. 10BD anonymous donations you are saying how contradictory. You cannot.
Some donation reluctant to give the number, PAN number or other number.
They don't want EDC deduction.
They don't want EDC deduction.
Sir, you can have 100 donations. Out of 10BD, 10 only people want. 10 only upload. 90 don't upload. They don't want. They cannot.
So should the total of 10BD tally with the
No,
donation?
not necessary.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Those who want only upload. Otherwise don't. Within 6 months again you apply for permanent. Immediately after getting provisional, immediately apply. Don't wait for 3 years. Immediately apply for. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the comprehensive session. I would like to invite our Vice Chairman to officially deliver the vote of thanks.
Already 10:30 p.m. So I will discharge my duty in very short time. Sir, it was a very, very interesting, useful, insightful, in-depth section. We are very much thankful to you, sir. You mentioned that you have taken almost 2 days to 1 day to reach here. In spite of a busy schedule, you have shown keen interest to come to Trivandrum and educate us. We are very much thankful to you, sir. The very fact that our members are spellbound for almost 3 hours shows how keen they are to impart and update the knowledge. And thank you very much, members, for showing this keen interest. Thank you all. And I now invite our past chairman, C.A. Sundaras, to present a memento to the faculty as a gesture of thanksgiving. But now you have become so professional should not make you clean. I am becoming at this age also. But past 40 years, minimum 3 sweets every day. Because I don't need sugar. Thank you so much. Photo kachara. Thank you. Thank you. He is the person who first time received me. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Chapter